Hi, gang. Hello, hello, hello. Wait, I want to show you a little something. I want to show you a little something. Oh, look at that. Look at that. They gave him a t-shirt and he's wearing it. Yeah, it fits. It fits and it feels good. Fits and it feels good. By the way, speaking of Parks Casino, tonight is comedy night at Parks Casino in Shippensburg. Mark Riccadonna from Comedy Central, the USO tour. He headlines tonight at 8 p.m. The show is free. Go mingle in Shippensburg. Live music every Saturday night in the side pocket. The Saturday duo tomorrow night. Newman Day taking the stage. Get lucky in no time at Parks Casino Shippensburg, exit 29 off Route 81 in central Pennsylvania. Parks Casino remains my casino of choice. Take my recommendation. Check out all the action, entertainment, excitement that they've got to offer. Parks Casino, central Pennsylvania, 100% smoke free. Less than an hour from Harrisburg, the state capital. Inside 500 state of the art slot machines, 48 live dealer electronic table games featuring blackjack, roulette, and a lot more. A great daily happy hour. Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, probably Parks Casino, Shippensburg. You know what I'm saying? Every Tuesday, the 50% golden discount. You can show your military veteran ID, get a free hot dog lunch with chips and a soda. Why go to Costco? You can go to Parks Casino in Shippensburg. Visit parkscasino.com. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So, relative to the poll question of the day, relative to poll questions, let me just review a couple of things because is he going to do the weave? Yeah, I'm going to do the weave. By the way, I was at dinner with a small group last night, and someone at the table, said, like, can you believe Trump and the weaves? Can you believe Trump and how he tries? And I sat there silently. You'd have been so proud of me. I sat there silently, thinking to myself, I do the weave, except I do bring it all home, such as this. Yesterday, 41,114 votes cast, setting aside criticism of Trump's approach and style. Setting that aside, do you believe that his tariff policies will ultimately benefit the United States? This was a lab experiment. The vote was 82% no. No, it's not going to ultimately benefit the United States. 17.89% who said yes. What I wanted to do was a comparison to last Saturday, given all the volatility in the market this week and the fact that on Wednesday, the market came roaring back. I know you're thinking about tomorrow or yesterday. I'll get to that. So, how did the result yesterday compare to the result last Saturday? Last Saturday, will the Trump administration tariffs ultimately be good or bad for the United States? Essentially the same question that I asked yesterday. Last Saturday, it was a 90-10 result. Yesterday, it was an 80-20 result. So you could say, and this is thoroughly unscientific, but damn interesting, you could say that there was a 10% confidence jump of people saying, I don't like it. The approach is heavy handed. It's chaos. He doesn't know what he's doing. But in the end, it could be to the United States' benefit. Flashback before I get to today's poll. This is important. Let me remind you what I asked on Monday. Because on Monday, my poll questions get posted early in the morning before the markets open, not the futures, but the market at 9:30. And we were still reeling from where the market had closed on Friday. And I asked on Monday, will the Dow Jones Industrial Average close higher or lower this Friday, that would be today, the 11th of April, than it did last Friday? Okay, here we are. It's game day. So where did we close last Friday? We closed at 38,314. And I've been saying this week, unlike March Madness, I think I got this one right because the market closed up nearly 8% on Wednesday at 40,608. Then came yesterday, a drop of 2.5%. The market closed yesterday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average at 39,593 and change. The number to beat from a week ago today, Michael, my head is spinning. Get to the point. Okay, the number to beat is 38,341. Or more simply, we are about 1,200 points higher right now before the market opens than we were when we closed last Friday. So what will today bring? I don't know. China has raised their tariff on U.S. imports to 125% after having imposed, after we had, after they had imposed an 84% tariff initially. So they've gone from 84 to 125. We are at 145. The Chinese Finance Ministry spokesman, quote, the U.S. alternately raising abnormally high tariffs on China has become a numbers game which has no practical economic significance and will become a joke in the history of the world economy. So that's all the number crunching. That's where we've been for the past several days relative to poll questions and tariffs. Today, totally different. Today, totally different. There are two talkers today. There are two talkers as we wind out the week, two talkers beyond tariffs. And one is my lead story today in the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Hudson River Hellscape, I think is the title that I put on it for the newsletter. I'm sorry, when they tell me on television, we're going to show you this footage and you might not want to watch. I guess it's some kind of a personality defect on my part because I have watched it. It is god awful. 6 people dead, including 3 children, 2 adults and 3 kids from Spain. An executive with a technology company, Siemens, and his family pulled from the helicopter or the frigid water. None survived. This grisly detail from the New York Times: 2 of the passengers were alive when the drivers pulled them from the water. I was driving into New York City last night, just at about the time of the crash, and all of a sudden, all the alerts came, and the traffic kind of came to a standstill because the West Side Highway got all backed up, and it just had a ripple effect on everything, and everybody just became preoccupied with this horrible accident. And by the way, I don't know the cause as I'm speaking in real time, but from the New York Post coverage, Michael Roth, 71, owner of the doomed aircraft, said the pilots had radioed base to say they were returning to the helipad but never arrived. He, the pilot, called in that he was landing and that he needed fuel. Please tell me this catastrophic event that killed 6 people wasn't because they were out of gas. Because the first thing that I think of when I hear that is the 1978 Leonard Skinner airplane crash. They didn't have gas. Like mechanical failure, human factors. I guess not checking the gas is a human factor, but how the hell could that happen? Again, I don't know. I don't know that is the cause. I'm just giving you the details as I speak in real time. So that is talker number 1 today. That is everywhere. And it's fueled, no pun intended, by the fact that the footage is out there. And I'll bet more footage will emerge. The other talker of the week is today's poll question, the Direwolves. I'm asking, should humans pursue the de-extinction of species like the dire wolf? Yesterday on the program in the 3rd hour, Robert Klitzman was my guest. He's a professor of psychiatry, and more important for our purposes, he's director of the online and in-person Masters of Bioethics programs at Columbia University. So he was my guest, and I'm fascinated with this subject. Time Magazine broke it initially. I assume you've seen the video by now, but the Time coverage began this way. Romulus and Remus are doing what puppies do, chasing, tussling, nipping, nuzzling, but there's something very unpuppy-like about the snowy white 6-month-olds. Their size, for starters. At their young age, they already measure nearly 4 feet long, tip the scales at 80 pounds, could grow to 6 feet and 150 pounds. Then there's their behavior, the angelic exuberance puppies exhibit in the presence of humans, trotting up for hugs, belly rubs, kisses, is completely absent. They keep their distance, retreating if a person approaches. Even one of the handlers who raised them from birth can get only so close before Romulus and Remus flinch and retreat. This isn't domestic canine behavior. This is wild lupine behavior. The pups are wolves. Not only that, they're dire wolves, which means they have cause to be lonely. The dire wolf once roamed an American range that extended as far south as Venezuela, as far north as Canada. Not a single one has been seen in over 10,000 years when the species went extinct. Plenty of dire wolves' remains have been discovered across the Americas, and that presented an opportunity for a company called Colossal Biosciences. By the way, check out their website. It's really amazing. So with Dr. Klitzman, we got into this yesterday on the program using domestic dogs as surrogate mothers. They brought Romulus and Remus and their sister, Khaleesi, gotta love that, into the world during 3 separate births last fall and this winter, effectively for the first time de-extincting a line of beasts whose live gene pool long ago vanished. Do we like this? It's very interesting. It's very Jurassic Park-ish, right? But do we really want to start down this road? And then the more I thought about it, I thought, and this is not a justification or a rationalization, but how are we going to stop private industry from going down this road? I found amazing the investment that's been put in this company, Colossal, and the fact that they currently employ 130 scientists. And I asked Dr. Klitzman, what's the upside? Like, where is the pot at the end of the rainbow from a financial perspective? It has to be something commercial, right? Zoos, some Jurassic Park-ish thing. I read a story this morning in ABC, which I was interested in for not the least of which reason is that our friend Dr. Arthur Kaplan from Langone, the foremost bioethicist in the country, arguably, was quoted. Someone else in this story said, this is a designer dog. This is not a dire wolf. Here, from ABC. Should we be bringing back extinct species? Ethical concerns raised after Direwolf allegedly resurrected. They give the background. I won't bore you with those details because I already have. Let me just cut to the chase. Samuel Gorovitz is a professor of philosophy at Syracuse, a leader in the development of medical ethics. Quote, all claims of de-extinction are the invocation of a metaphor, and what they have produced and what they will at some point produce may be technologically impressive, but they are not and never can be the actual previously extinct species. Only adult dire wolves can raise a dire wolf, and there aren't any. One thing we know for sure, they are not, is dire wolves. And then Beth Shapiro gives the response. She's the Colossal chief scientist. She said her team extracted direwolf DNA from 2 existing fossils to better sequence the animal's genome. A close relative of the direwolf was used as the base. She said the team took a gray wolf genome, which she described as genetically 99.5% identical to direwolves, and edited those cells at multiple points to contain the direwolf DNA. They say no animals were harmed in the process. And then it's Stuart Pym, the Doris Duke professor of conservation ecology at Duke, who said this is a colossal fabrication. They've created a designer dog. One more. Let me get to our friend Art Kaplan. Yeah, here it is. Art Kaplan. It has to live somewhere, and it isn't clear what the environment was that the dire wolf lived in, or what it ate, or sort of its behavior. And so you face a possibility you won't know where to keep this animal that you just made healthy. He added that the behavior of dire wolves was likely shaped by the packs they roamed in or packs that they may have competed against. However, those groups don't exist anymore. Quote, if you bring back something that's been dead 10,000, 40,000, 100,000 years, you need to bring back its environment, not just the animal. Otherwise, you potentially are going to have issues, which is what Dr. Klitzman said yesterday. So the medical ethicists, largely, they don't like the idea. They don't like it. I know, fun to think about, cool to look at all the video and so forth. A very slippery slope. Okay, Michael, so you're against this, But if you could go to some type of a contained environment and see a Tyrannosaurus Rex, would you do it? Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I probably would. I probably would. But I don't think anything good comes from this. And I have read the justification. And to be fair to the company, Colossal, they say that, one of the things that they're able to do through investing in this science is to figure out how to stop species that are here but threatened from going extinct. They say they learn lessons that they can now. I mean, if I said to you, I said this yesterday on air. If I said to you the spotted owl is in danger, I don't know if it is, but work with me here. I'm on a roll, okay? The spotted owl is in danger, and we can act to save the spotted owl. You would say, let's do it. Or the bald eagle, which has come back and is not threatened. But if I said to you the spotted owl went out of existence a year ago and we can bring the spotted owl back, I'll bet you'd say that's fine. A year ago? Yeah, that's cool. 5 years ago? Yeah, all right. 10 years ago? 100 years ago? 5,000 years ago? Like, where's the line? Why do I justify saving it if we're down to the last spotted owl today or a year ago, but not 10,000 years ago? I don't know. That's what makes it a great poll question. Please go vote and answer the we've never had this before, de-extinction poll question. Like and subscribe. Show some love to the host, and set yourself up for notifications. De-extinction, the word of the day, the poll question of the day on this Friday, the 11th of April, 2025 at Smerconish.com. Thank you so much for voting. See ya.